I recently read a statistic that said the average person who retires dies within 3 years of retirement. 3 years. And you might say, why? How is that possible? Well, it's because they stop dreaming. They stop setting goals. They stop having vision or a reason to live. You know, I recently taught a message on the 3 bones of success, or the anatomy of success. And in that message, one of the bones that I find vitally important to fulfilling your dreams, fulfilling the plan God has for your life, is you must have wishbone. You must have wishbone. What is that? It's vision. You know, Proverbs 29:18 tells us, where there is no vision, the people perish. It's amazing how vitally important it is that you have a vision for your life. Not just everybody else have a vision, not just your spouse, not just your children. You have to have a vision for your life. You know, Mark Twain said, I can teach anybody how to get what they want in life. Problem is, I can't find anybody who can tell me what they truly want. When was the last time you just sat quietly and just thought, what do I want? What do I want by the end of this year? What do I want to accomplish? What do I want to see in my bank account? What do I want my body to look like? What do I want to do with the rest of my life? You know, it's amazing how kids have no problem telling you what they want. In fact, you know, we have Dreams and Goals books. We have the Dreams and Goals app for your smartphone. If you were to give this Dreams and Goals book to your kid or a kid you know and say, tell me what you want. Tell me what you want by the end of this year. They would probably fill this book up and say, give me another one. But you give it to an adult and it'll probably sit on their desk for a year with nothing in it. Why is that? Well, for many of us, it's just stop dreaming. They've stopped dreaming. They've stopped giving themselves permission to dream. So you don't even know what you want. Or you're constantly asking, how could that happen? I kind of know what I want, but I don't know how it could happen, so I'm not even going to write it down. You know, it's interesting because with a kid, they don't care how it's going to happen. They just know, I'm going to write it down and mom and dad will figure out a way. Well, you have to get that way. If God's given you a desire for something, it's there for a reason. So you have to honor those desires and those dreams that are on the inside of you and do something different this year. If you've never taken the time to write your dreams and goals, then make this the year that you do that. You know, you've probably heard me share stories how, you know, Andrew Carnegie, when he hired Napoleon Hill to write the book for him called Think and Grow Rich, he said, Napoleon, I want you to interview 500 of the world's wealthiest people back in that day. 500 of them. All of them were millionaires. He said, but I want you to discover if any of them have one thing in common that's made them so successful. And it was people like Alexander Graham Bell, Theodore Roosevelt, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, John D. Rockefeller, Charles Schwab, John Wanamaker. I mean, the wealthiest people back in that day. So he interviewed them. He came back to Andrew Carnegie and he said, they do. They have something in common. He said, what is it? He said, every single one of them have clearly defined written goals. Clearly defined written goals. Now that's not coincidental. You've probably heard me share this before and heard statistics that they say your chance of success increases by 98% when you put your dreams in writing. You know, I want this to be the year that you kick it up a notch. You go to that next level in your life where you get serious about achieving your dreams and goals. Now, it's not enough to just write them down. In fact, I heard another story not too long ago about this guy who would, you know, every Thanksgiving, he said he would get the ornaments for the Christmas tree out of the attic, take them all out, decorate the tree. After Christmas was over, he'd get all the ornaments, pack them up, put them in the box. But before he put those boxes back in the attic, he said he would get out a sheet of paper and he would write his New Year's goals. All of them, all of his goals on paper. Well, already he's ahead of 97-98% of the rest of America just by the fact that he took the time to write them down. But he would pack them in those boxes and put them in the attic. Next Thanksgiving, when he brought the boxes down, he'd look at his goals to see if he achieved them. Do you think he achieved them? Not at all. Why? Because they weren't before his eyes. See, it's not enough to just write the vision. You have to keep it before your eyes because that's what elevates your desire to see that dream fulfilled. I want you to do the same thing. See, God is no respecter of persons. He just wants us to do what he said to do. You know, I heard Joel Osteen telling a story about his father, John. He said years ago when his father, John Osteen, was having open heart surgery, he's in the hospital, and he told Joel, he said, Joel, I want you to go home and get my tennis shoes. Now, he was a petite man, but still not quite this small. But he said, I want you to go get my tennis shoes and set them here by my hospital bed so I can look at those shoes. Joel said, why? He said, that's my vision, that I will walk out of this hospital and I will be jogging again. Well, Pastor John Osteen lived another 12 years after open heart surgery. Well, why were those tennis shoes so important? It was vision. He was surrounding himself with what could be, not just what was. And that's what you have to do. When you take the time to, design a vision board, just get a poster board and put pictures up there of what you're believing for, debts to be paid off, whatever it is. You're surrounding yourself with what can be, not just what is. And that's what it takes. That causes your faith to come up to a whole new level when you say, hey, every time you're looking at that, every day you're looking at vision. At first you may laugh about it, you see, we're going to pay off $10,000 of debt this year, and you might laugh like, yeah, right. But the more you look at that, it's not so funny. And then you start believing it. Then you start confessing it. Then you start taking action towards that dream. I've heard stories about NASA, that back when John F. Kennedy had a dream to land a man on the moon, he told NASA, he said, I want you to get a picture of this. So they put a picture of a man landing on the moon with the American flag in the NASA headquarters. They said it covered the entire wall from the ceiling to the floor. Now think about that. Every single day they're going to work. What are they looking at? Vision. Every day their target, their success was right in front of them. If we achieve this, we've succeeded. Well, apparently they achieved this goal 2 years ahead of schedule. What could happen in your life if you would get some wishbone? Take the time to get serious about the dreams and goals that you want to see happen in your life this year and beyond. And write that vision down, put it in a place where you can see it, or get the Dreams and Goals app. Put it on your phone. Every day before I leave the house, I pray over my dreams and goals. It's not hard, and you know what? It only takes about 5 minutes. Do something different and you'll get different results. Also, I want to invite you to the next conference. I'm so excited about this conference. I can hardly wait. I've already worked on my syllabus. I'm so excited to teach you how to go to the next level in your life. No matter what it is, if you're wanting to lose weight and you're tired of struggling with that weight, then get the tools that are going to help you develop discipline to break that bondage in your life. Whatever it is, getting out of debt, building your savings account, starting that business. Now is the time for you to go to the next level. Hurry up and register here on the website, terri.com/next. And closed registration, it stops January 20th. It's going to cost a little bit more if you pay at the door. So hurry up and take advantage of that. And we have an after party. We'll get to meet, we'll get to hug, we'll get to talk about your future. Also, if you're enjoying the podcast, subscribe to this channel. Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. I love to keep you encouraged. Thank you so much for watching.